Hey there, my name is Slorgs, and today I will be walking the full diagonal length of Kashan Desert in a completely straight line, and I will be doing it while also walking on a treadmill, effectively walking Kashan Desert in real life. And it's while I'm doing this, and I'm not just doing this for nothing. I'm actually doing it because I think it's time for a little channel update. I've got some points. I've got some discussion. I've got some questions. I've got a lot of questions, actually. And I hope you'll join me in answering those questions and help me out as best you can while you watch me walk the entirety of Kashan Desert. There are some points in this walk where I'm trying to... For some reason, I think you used to be able to rope over barricades with barbed wire on top. But it doesn't look like you can do that anymore, which I didn't know when I started this walk, so that was a bit unfortunate. There are some moments where I may magically appear on the other side of a wall, or be faffing around and have to go way off my straight line to get round a impassable barbed wire fence. But if you can just suspend your disbelief and ignore those moments, that'd be fantastic. There's going to be a lot of rambling in this video. I've got some kind of loose structure, some loose points I want to make, and that is on this piece of paper in front of me, but I don't have a tight script. So things I say may be jumping all over the place, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try and keep on point, on task as best I can. Okay, here we go. And what I'm going to start with, so Project Reality. I'm making a lot of Project Reality content. I have found recently that Project Reality has an issue. Okay, so in fact, let me give some background first. I am not a full-time YouTuber. Contrary to popular belief, I do this part-time. I have a full-time job. You'll actually see in this video that anything that I do on the laptop to my left is my actual job. I'm literally recording this gameplay. If you can even call this gameplay, I'm recording this walk while also doing my full-time job. This is to perhaps demonstrate the fact that the only reason I've been able to make YouTube content, and I've been making YouTube content, taking it seriously for the last year. I've spent most of my life making YouTube content. From the age of about 12, I've been making YouTube content, which has been great. I have nothing against that. It was fun. It's been fun. But this past year, I decided to take it seriously. I got this new job. It's entirely work from home. It's very flexible. Most of the time, it's very easy, and it's very easy to juggle the full-time job and YouTube, which gives me more time to make YouTube content. I had so much free time when I first started this job. I was like, man, I should do something with this free time. So I started doing YouTube again, but taking it seriously and making actual, not just making videos of anything random that happens to come to mind on a random day when I have the motivation, but actually doing it like consistently, uploading every week. And the channel has grown. We've nearly doubled it. In fact, we've over doubled in size. And the views have also increased just generally from when I started to where I'm at now. Just average views have gone up, which is great. Obviously subscribers and everything has all gone up. It's all great. And I got monetized. I even started making money off of YouTube, which again is a great bonus. In fact, it's more than just a bonus. Unfortunately, it becomes the centerpiece for everything you do. And this is the problem that I am having, okay? Because I would love to do YouTube full time. I would love to do it full time. There is nothing I would want more than for being a YouTuber to be my job. It would be amazing. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. And a lot of me feels like I have what it takes to do it, right? And I currently have the time to commit to it alongside my full-time job. I don't have as much time as I'd like, but I have enough time where I can do it and keep uploads fairly regular, right? But the issue is that when it comes to wanting to do YouTube full time, you have to understand that with that, there's an evolution in the content that you make. when I used to make content as a kid, like starting on YouTube when I was 12 years old or whatever, I would just make stuff that I like making. I would just make random videos of stuff that I enjoyed because I had a ton of free time and nothing to do with it. And I needed an excuse to play video games. My mum always told me that video games are a waste of time. So I started making YouTube videos about my video games so I could justify playing the games by saying, well, it's work. I'm doing something productive with it. I'm making videos out of it. So that's allowed, right? And that just persisted throughout my life. And I would always, that was one of the main motivators for YouTube, was just it was fun to do and it passed the time, and it made video gaming feel less like a waste of time. So maybe that's some, childhood trauma there, probably. But the point is that back then I could do whatever I wanted. And also the whole YouTube algorithm was different. The majority of your views came from subscribers, not from the recommended page. So the stuff you made was to really appeal to your specific audience, and your audience would watch your content, and that would grow your audience slowly, and you'd have much more consistent views on your content. And you could kind of just make stuff that you liked that people would subscribe for, as opposed to having to kind of tailor what you do to an algorithm, which is now what you have to do. So I'm now sitting in this problem, right, where I want to do YouTube consistently. Now, I mainly make Project Reality content and have done for the last year. And a lot of people on this channel have subscribed or expect to see Project Reality content. Even if you haven't subscribed, but you watch the videos regularly, you probably get them recommended repeatedly because it's Project Reality content, right? And you click consistently on Project Reality stuff, which is great. And I love Project Reality. I mean, it's no secret. I love Project Reality. I've made a million videos on on PR and how it's consistently been one of the best games and probably my favorite game for years, literally years. Okay. But there are two problems. Okay. The first problem is that Project Reality is incredibly old. And the second problem is that it is, well, I hesitate to say that PR is dying, but it will. PR will die. Okay. And these are two big problems because, well, I suppose there's the third problem. And the third problem is that the player base is very small and the audience for PR content is also very small. Like in the grand scheme of things, an audience watching PR videos is very small. And so I'm at a crossroads here. I'm a bit conflicted on what to do because I could keep making PR stuff, but realistically, I want to do this professionally. I want to do this full time. It seems unrealistic to me, and correct me if I'm wrong. And I'd love to hear your perspective on this, viewer, especially if you're a regular viewer. I would love to know. And there's some more questions coming up, but stay with me. I would love to do this full time. You have to understand that if you look at other content creators, especially in the gaming space, especially in like the realism shooter, Milsim kind of space, they don't just play one game over and over again, right? These people are like, they play multiple different games. They chase updates and new releases and stuff like that. And ultimately they play games that people actually play and people actually watch, I can't be like cornered in to only playing PR, has been my feeling, right? As much as I want to, I would love to just make PR content forever, but I just don't think it's a smart way to grow. There are certain PR videos that have done really well on my channel. Most of them, or the two most popular ones, are me basically saying in a scripted video why you should play Project Reality, right? But I can't make those videos every day. I can't release 3 of those videos a week. It doesn't make any sense, You need to. I really feel like I need to vary up the content. I released a squad video recently. I released 2 squad videos actually, but the second one was far more hated than the first one for some reason. I don't know why. In the video I released recently, I said that squad is a more immersive game, or is the king of tactical immersion. It is. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to lie. It's the truth. I'm not saying it's a better game than PR. I think PR is a better game. It has more content. The community is better. The overall games that you get day to day, I think, are better. But Squad is definitely more immersive. The explosions are better. The sound design, just the full experience that you get from being in a battle. You feel way more like you're in a battle in Squad than you do in PR. Like, there is no denying that just having better graphical fidelity, if nothing else, it increases your immersion in the game. I don't want to be completely forced out of playing these new games or any games that just because I feel like PR is a better game, I don't feel like I shouldn't be allowed to play those games. And I would like to know whether you as an audience are willing to indulge me in exploring other stuff, or whether you're literally a diehard. If it's not PR, why the hell would I watch anything that you make? I don't know. I would love to know. Do you watch content because I make it, or do you watch content specifically about the things that I make content? Like do you watch content, you watch all PR stuff, or do you watch content, or would you never watch PR? You've only watched PR because I do it, you know? And if you've watched PR because I do it, would you realistically then watch something else that I've done because I do it? You know, I've got a couple of dumb videos, I think, in the works coming up. I call them dumb. They're just not as serious. But I'm a big believer in having fun in video games as opposed to taking them super duper seriously. I think a lot of Milsim players take games super duper seriously. The other problem right now is that the Milsim genre is dying. I don't know if you've looked around recently, but most smaller Milsim developments are being shut down right now. There are very few Milsim releases. Most people feel they just can't sell a realism shooter anymore, and I understand. It's a very niche market. But you've also got to remember that Squad is one of the top 50 played games on Steam. So these things all need to be taken into consideration. But we need to understand that the content I'm making going forward, I'm still trying to keep it varied if I can, because I want to do this full time. I would love to do this full time, right? But I would love to know if you are down for varied content, what varied stuff do you want to see? What do you want to see? Like, and in terms of PR content as well, what do you want to see? Is it just gameplay? Is that what you want? Is it purely scripted stuff? Is it something in the middle, a mix of both? Is it something that I've never made before? Is it videos where I walk in a straight line across across a map? Is that it? Is that the secret sauce you've been waiting for? Let me know. Really, let me know. Because I would love to know. And what did you, if you're a subscriber, what did you subscribe for? What was it? What was the thing that not only made you subscribe, but made you, or what was the video? I was like, man, I want to see more of this. That's what I want to know, because I don't know. I feel like some of my videos do much better than others. It seems fairly random. I can't, when I look back and I see the videos that did well and the videos that did less well, I compare them and I go, I don't really see the differences, you know, and maybe I'm just blind to it because I made them myself. But I'm very interested to have your guys' take. Also, Patreon is something I've been dabbling in doing off and on in like the back of my mind. Any Patreon enjoyers, anyone out there, what would you want on a Patreon? If I made one and it had different tiers and I could give different stuff for different tiers, bearing in mind that I have a limited time, what would you want to see? What would you want to see on there? I in my mind, I feel like there's a world where I could provide, like, so for every video I release, you could obviously see the video early. That would be one tier. You could see the video without ads. That would be probably a similar tier. You could, maybe I could also release like the full game, the uncut footage of the full round. I think some people ask to see full rounds. Is that of any interest? I don't know. A podcast? Would anyone listen to a podcast? If they did, what would the podcast be on? I'm taking all interest. Any ideas, please throw them my way, because I'm very interested to know. I don't really talk directly to the audience that much. That's probably a mistake on my part, and I apologize for that. I want to briefly touch on the server. I had a Project Reality server. I don't know how many people knew that. It was quite a big deal for me at the time. I was quite proud that we managed to bring that server to fruition. I say we, it was mainly a guy called Hacks and a guy called Welsh, who did the absolute labor-intensive, back-breaking work of making a Project Reality server. Not easy at all. Very difficult. What happened to that server? It had moments of success. It had like a week or two where it was full pretty much every day. It had a few weeks where it would always fill on the weekends. It ran, once we ironed out some of the bugs and the quirks and the issues that every PR server has, it ran pretty good, actually. We got into a good place. But we were paying for a server that ultimately was a huge amount of work to keep up. Where did it go? We shut it down. Because we were paying for a server where, and this is one of the biggest issues I have with PR right now. And devs, if you're listening, please continue to listen, because I feel like there's a world where we can fix this problem. PR has this issue, right? There's the hog server. There's usually a Russian server, and then those are always full. And maybe every now and then there's a Brazilian server that just fills, and that's it. There are no European servers, okay? Because if you have a European server, you need so many things. First of all, to have a server in PR, you need to have DDoS protection, okay? Which is already a huge barrier to entry because that's an extra cost. DDoS protection is not cheap. In fact, the problem is that getting DDoS protection it's like a business level. Like DDoS protection is for, like your Google servers. DDoS protection is for your multi-million-dollar business, right? DDoS protection is not really built for your random guy who owns a PR server, It's just not what it's for. So it's very difficult to find good DDoS protection that you can actually afford. Most of the current PR servers have a guy who writes special custom code to custom defend a DDoS server, or custom defend a server with DDoS protection. That's the majority of PR servers have some kind of gimmick version of DDoS protection. We paid for it. We found a server provider that offered that protection as part of the server, which was quite a good deal, and actually worked quite well. Because we were DDoSed. We were DDoSed without DDoS protection. The first week we ran the server, we were DDoSed every time we brought the server up. And then when we actually got the protection, we would continue to get DDoSed. But the DDoS protection worked. But we were tracking it the whole time, and we were DDoSed multiple times while having protection. But there's the first problem. So to own a PR server, you need to have DDoS protection. The second thing you need to know is that to run a PR server, you need 2 servers, not 1, because you need to run PR Mumble. And PR Mumble doesn't work if you run it on the same server as you're running Project Reality. So you need 2 servers. You need a PR server, you need a Mumble server. And then you need DDoS protection for both of them, because if you don't have DDoS protection on your Mumble server, then your Mumble server gets DDoSed and lags into oblivion. Now, this isn't an issue for most games. I know guys who run a squad server. They don't have DDoS protection. They just don't get DDoSed. This is a PR problem. You get DDoS constantly on your server. I don't know who does it. No one seems to know. Everyone points fingers at everyone else, but it's a very consistent. One of the main reasons that the Hog server continues to be the top server is because they had DDoS protection, really good DDoS protection. One of the first servers to have properly good DDoS protection. Every other server got DDoSed into oblivion at one point or another, and Hog always remained, and it just became the server that everyone played on, right? And I'm not against Hog being the server that everyone plays on. It's a perfectly respectable server. It's got a lot of veterans on there. A lot of people who I enjoy playing the game with play on Hog. But the problem is that I feel in my heart of hearts that there is the amount of people queuing to join the Hog server at peak time, let's say from 5 p.m. onwards on a weekday, is a huge number of people. I reckon there's a full server worth of people just sitting there in the queue waiting to join the Hog server. And if they just joined a European server, you'd have a full European server. But no one wants to join the European server because no one wants to seed. They get home from work or school or whatever. They don't want to seed a server. They just want to play, And this is the scourge of the European server. And this is the hardest part. When we had a server, we had to seed it from 8 a.m. every morning. If you wanted to fill your European server, you have to seed it from first thing in the morning, which means you need to have admins, active admins from first thing in the morning, which is very hard to find because active admins will be playing on the hog server. If they're playing at 8 a.m, they'll be adminning the hog server. And this player base is too small to find enough admins to admin your server, you know? And you can't just make admins. You can't just have people who don't know what they're doing because it ruins your server experience. So you have to take people who are already admins on other servers and make them admin on your server, but then they'll be adminning the popular server because they're admin on every server, right? So it's a very difficult problem to solve. The solution, in my mind, is instead of having this situation where you have to seed your European server at 8 a.m. every single day and have an admin on it for the entire day when there's like 20 people on there, just so when you hit peak time, some people actually join. What you should have is you should be allowed to use bots on your server. You should be allowed to use bots. Devs, please. Would you consider it? Would you even consider it? Is it possible? I ask because there's this magic number with a PR server I found, and the magic number is 40. If you have 40 out of 100 people on your server at around peak times, your server will fill and you can play the game, right? 40 out of 100. So imagine, instead of having to seed your server from 8 a.m. every day, you're allowed to put 40 bots on there. They play as normal, you know, bots like in co-op, and they fill up 40 spaces on the server. And then when someone joins, it replaces a bot with a person. So the first 40 people who join, it will still say 40 people on the server. And then after that, it will fill as normal, right? But imagine if you could load up your server at 5 p.m, peak PR evening time for European players, and it already has 40 people on there. They're just bots. And so people who are sitting in this hog queue will stop sitting in the hog queue and they'll join your server because it says it has 40 out of 100 people on it. And then your server will fill in an hour. From 5 to 6, your server goes from 40 people to 100 people. Or goes from 40 bots to 100 people. And then you only need admins for the evening when the admins are playing, you know? When the people who I play with every day are playing the game. It seems like a great solution. And any devs out there, I would be very interested to see why that is not an option. I would love to know why that isn't an option, because it seems like a great option. And would honestly, I think, bring new players a new life to the game and show that there is a bigger player base than people think in this game. And they just need a place to actually flourish and play the game and not just open the game, see there's one server, don't want to sit in a queue for 2 hours and close the game, you know? Yeah, I think I've said a lot. How long have I been recording? Oh my God, 22 minutes. Okay, well, I mean, that's it. What else am I going to say? That's the update, I guess. I'm going to continue going with PR content. I'm still trying to vary it up. I can see that there is some tension in terms of squad content, but I'd be interested to hear why you're so against. Like, I'm trying, when I make content, I'm trying to be honest. There are content creators out there, right, who they'll take a game, some new game, they'll go, X game this is the best thing ever. You know, all these guys who've played Battlefield 2042, the first thing they ever said when the game was launched was, man, this game is amazing. This is the future of Battlefield. This is so good. And you play the game, it's garbage. It's complete garbage. There are so many content creators who just lie to your face, okay? They just play a game, they say, yeah, this is great. Complete lies. Because you get more views if you say a game is good than if you say a game is bad. Now, I have the opinion that I don't want to be just making stuff where I just literally lie to your face. If I'm going to make a video about a game that isn't that good, I'm going to at least only mention that, you know, this part is good, everything else is bad. You know, if the title is saying that, for example, in Squad, I didn't make a video that said Squad is the best game ever. I made a video that said Squad is the best immersion you can get in fucking Milsim gaming. Is essentially what that title was. And it's true, I think it is. And so I said it. But I don't want to be lying to people, you know? Which is why I don't play that many games. It's why you don't see that many games on my YouTube, because honestly, most games these days are shit. Which is sad. But also, if you have a game that you think is good and you want me to play it, let me know. There's a guy who mentioned Insurgency, which I might give a go over in the Discord. Check out the Discord. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to keep going. The point is, I'm going to keep going. I've already rambled on for so long. If you've watched this far, absolutely insane. Props to that guy. If you've made it this far, crazy. If you're not subscribed and you've watched this much of the video, I'm shocked. Honestly, I'm shocked. Anyway, thanks for this, my rambling. Please answer some of the questions I asked. I would love your opinions on content for the future, things that I can do differently, things you liked, reasons you subscribed, what you want to see, and maybe don't be mean to me in the comments when I spend literally 40 hours of my week making YouTube content and giving up most of my life for it. Maybe some kindness. Right, that's it. That's it. I've got nothing else to say. I finished the walk. Look, I finished the walk. It wasn't that long. Oh, by the way, yeah, the walk, turns out, you'll see the screenshots on screen, I hope. It's only about 4,000 steps across Kashan. It's really not that far. So I don't know what they're saying about this 4K map. It's really not 4K, is it? That's just a lie, isn't it? All right, anyway. Goodbye.